Greetings everyone, this is Matt with Wrench with Matt. Today I'm assembling and then hopefully also installing running boards on my new truck. I got the Rough Country aluminum sideboards. Heard great reviews on them, looking forward to assembling them. I wanted to actually get part of the assembly process recorded because it's a little tricky if you've never done this before, and I haven't. So far, really love the running boards. They seem to be very well constructed, pretty heavy duty. Aluminum was a key for me because here in New York State we get a lot of road salt. Aluminum will corrode just enough to protect itself, whereas steel will just rust to pieces. Pretty straightforward install. There's some pads that sit on the running board here. These are your tread pads. There's 6 plastic kind of tabs or nubs that kind of stick through here. This is a 13 millimeter self-threading nut, I guess you'd call that. I put these on just over hand tight. I just used a 13 millimeter socket with an extension, did it by hand. If you go much tighter than you can do by hand, you will strip them out, so just be careful of that. Some of them tightened right down, and a few of them felt like if I tightened them any more, I would strip them out, so I just kind of stopped at where they were. They all seemed very secure, so I think we're good there. Next step for this sideboard is to install these bolts. These are what will actually hold the step to the brackets. There's bolts on the truck that hold the brackets to the truck. We simply remove those, install the brackets, and then the brackets mount to this. So there are 2 tracks here for the bolts to go into. Each bracket has 2 holes in it that will mount to this. So we need to have 6 bolts, as there are 3 brackets, front, middle, and rear. So I'll just insert those now. Their exact position at this point does not matter. We will simply adjust once we get to mounting it to the vehicle. Each of these heavy-duty plastic end caps goes on each end of the running board. These nuts, along with the Allen-headed bolts, are going to be what will hold the end caps in place. These just slide into the track right here at the end. Personally, I use just a beat-up flathead screwdriver. I want to move these down some, and then I'll move them into position in the perfect spot a little later. As I said, the end caps, pretty heavy duty plastic. They are really not made to come off. There's a bunch of just little ribs in there that are made to grip the running board and really hold this in place securely. Great design. Makes it a little difficult to put them on. I start at this corner right here and then just kind of keep working it around. And I'm leaning my body against the running board to hold it in place. No more movement, I've got it. Now I've got these 4 millimeter Allen bolts here and locking washers that'll hold the ends in place. I'm looking right through the hole and getting it lined up with my screwdriver. I will start this by hand. I just use the socket and the extension to tighten it down a little bit. And I'll do the same for this one. Gently push that back in there. Line it up, start by hand. On the back side here with those ribs, I gotta push down on it just a little bit, just to make sure I catch the threads on that nut. There we go. Just had to push down a little harder. Alright, now that I have those hand tight for these, I will grab the socket. I'll give it just a little more, and you'll notice I'm not even using the whole handle of the socket. I'm just grabbing up here to make sure it is fully secure. Tight is tight. I don't want to break anything. Alright, that seems really good. They do specify torque specs on the worksheet. I'm going with, that's 3 Ugga-Duggas, that'll work. All right, now we'll repeat the process for the other side and come back in a minute. This end cap was even harder to put on, but I believe I've got it all the way on. Appears to be straight, bottomed out, lining up the nuts. And this track that's closer to me seems to be a little easier to get started, so I will start here. There we go. Push down on it. Tight by hand, and we'll give it just a little more with the socket. There we go. You can really kind of feel it tighten up there. It's fairly easy to turn this a little bit, and then all of a sudden it's not. There we go. Okay. I'm actually going to unbox the brackets here real quick. Very nice thing is they are labeled with a D for the driver's side and a P for the passenger side. All 4 of these brackets are the same. So these are the middle and rear brackets, and then the P and the D, these are the front brackets. All right, I'm over on the driver's side, and I'm going to remove these 2 bolts here for the front bracket. Again, this bracket's labeled with a D right there, getting its driver's side. That's not going anywhere. I'm going to remove these middle bolts for the middle bracket. The bolt likes to stick in the socket just from all the undercoating on the head. Sure beats rust. I will come back and snug these down later. I'll probably have to make some adjustments on their position. All right, now for the bolts for the last bracket here. Get those started by hand, don't want to cross thread them. Another bracket, expertly installed. Okay, I've got the driver's side running board just sitting in place here. Happy with the fitment. I've pretty well matched it to the other side. I'm going to show the other side real quick because I made a mistake over there I'm going to have to fix. On this side, everything seems to look good, but if you look closely up here, I have too much of a gap between the step and the cab. It got a little away from me when I was tightening things down. I wasn't feeling that good when I was doing that, so I'll just need to loosen those nuts up and shift that back into place, and that'll be just fine. Okay, with the running board in place where I want it, I'm going to start with the front. I can make sure that stays in place. I will then do the back, and I'll do the middle last. That way I have the least amount of possibility of things shifting and moving where I don't want them to go. Sure, putting the locking nut on in the correct direction. It's not fully tight yet, but it is nearly there. There we go. Making sure it's right up tight against the cab like I want it to be. I want as little gap there as possible. Unfortunately, the way this bracket's made, I can't get a driver in there. So I'm going to do this for a little while. Excellent. Now I'll move on to the back bracket. Lost one of the bolts here, so I just need to pick this up, out a little bit. Just put that in there. There we go. Just making sure my locking nut is in the right direction. and back just to tighten it down a bit here. Make sure to push it in. I'm just going to back this off just a bit, just so I have the wiggle room here. My bag of nuts and washers blew away. Need to go get that. Where does it go? Seriously, where'd it go? Okay, let's do this next one. I've already checked the orientation of my locking nut. Go ahead and tighten this down so it doesn't walk on me. I know, I loosened it earlier. I believe this whole bolt is turning. Not sure why, but I will say one thing. It is tight. It is a locking nut. I think we're good. I'm calling it good. Okay, last bracket on this side, then I need to adjust the other side. That bolt's definitely turning. This bolt's not. Nice. All right, that is solid. That is going nowhere. You're good to go there. Okay, we are back over on the passenger side. I'm gonna fix my issue here. There we go. That's where it's supposed to be. Nice. I just gotta tighten everything back down. I was pretty sure this would be an easy fix once I realized what I'd done wrong. From a build quality standpoint, I am very impressed with these. Alright, just gotta tighten these down and I'm all done. This bolt is rotating as well. But it is solid. It's not going anywhere. That's a locking nut. This one's tight. It's good to go. Ship it. Overall, I'm thrilled with the look of the new side steps. They look rugged. They're obviously very tough. I've already used them on both sides. I'll give you a quick pan around here. And they're going to help protect the sides of the truck from stones and stuff getting kicked up until I can replace or install some mud flaps. Got those on order, but unfortunately they are back ordered. But yeah, I just love the look. The black just really syncs well with the rest of the truck. Couldn't be happier.